Alright, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video today. So we're going to be talking about the catfight that happened last week on X between a bunch of conservative women. Mainly, I want to focus on Pearl Davis because she is a special lady, that woman. She is, truly. But before we dive into any of it, this is your reminder to subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. All of my other social medias are linked down below. As always, I post short form content on those, and oftentimes I will post little previews about the videos that I am planning on making on YouTube, so you can get a sneak peek, essentially, if you wanted to check that out. And without any further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, so I honestly debated if I wanted to even make this video because it's so stupid, but then I kind of thought about it a little bit more, and I do think that there is an important conversation to be had here about Pearl Davis and the influence that she has on right-wing commentary, I guess you could say. I think that as each day passes, she discredits herself more and more and more and more. If you missed it, I'm going to go through the absolute surface level of this catfight because there's so many side quests that we could take, and we would be here all day. So let's just dive into the bare bones of it. The four main people that you need to know about for this story are Pearl Davis. I'm sure you know about her already. We've talked about her on this channel before. Emily Wilson. She goes by Emily Saves America. She has a very similar style to Pearl Davis. I think that they all just engage in rage bait to garner clicks and views, but that's on them. Next is Sarah Stock and Morgan Ariel. I have heard of Sarah Stock before. I don't know much about her. I've just heard the name, seen her on X a few times. Morgan Ariel, this is the first time I've heard of her. Hadn't heard of her before all of this. So that's where I'm standing on all of it. But it all started because Sarah Stock posted her engagement. Yeah, this all started because a woman announced that she is engaged. And here is the initial post. Beautiful ring, beautiful flowers, beautiful congratulations. How exciting. Getting engaged is the most magical moment in your life up until that point, truly. And that's so wonderful for her. I absolutely love it. Beautiful ring. But Pearl Davis, being the sad, bitter woman that she is, responds and says, hottest right-wing e-girl taken off the market. Conservative women will always use their marriage and family to build their brand, whatever that is supposed to mean. And she also made a secondary post saying pictured ring, not pictured husband. And apparently this is something that Pearl does because another woman posted her engagement from a year ago where Pearl quite literally said the exact same thing to her. And I think this girl made an excellent point when she says, it's weird how almost a year passes and I'm married and she's just doing the same sad thing. And I really do feel like that's kind of at the core of this because apparently Pearl has a boyfriend. It's actually a point of contention because one of the women in this called him black and she said he's Dominican. Called her a liar. Called her a liar because she said her boyfriend is black even though he's Dominican. If that's not like bleeding desperation, I don't know what is. But we're going to move on because I do want to get through the basics of what has happened here. Then Emily Wilson dogpiles on. And now the rumor is that there was already drama between Emily and Sarah. I couldn't be bothered to go find that. I don't care. Again, side quest. We're staying on track here. Emily says the size. Ugh. That's so foul. I'm so sorry. That's really foul. One, she very well could have picked this ring out for herself. I know for myself, I don't want a gaudy ring. I love my ring. I love her ring. I think that there is a balance between like classy chic and gaudy. But Morgan Ariel, that's when she jumps in and says, you give it up for free, ho. Might want to sit this one out. And that's so classy. That's a really classy take. And, you know, it could be true. I don't know about Emily's sleeping around status, but this is obviously turning into a cafeteria brawl between high school girls. It's really cute. But Pearl obviously responds to this and says, Morgan, you are a single mother with a public video admitting you have HPV. You might want to sit this one out too. To which Ariel responds, you suck black dick and probably have AIDS. Okay. That's fascinating. I'm like so gobsmacked by that. Now, that is the premise. There are side quests. There are other women who got involved and are dogpiling. But the thing that I really want to talk about here is Pearl Davis, because she just has this tendency to run her mouth and make the dumbest points. A couple of months ago, that Matt Walsh of all people, had posted that he gave in to his wife and got a pet goat. And then they had 2 goats. And his wife is like making jokes online about this, because that is the type of relationship that they have. If you've ever seen them interact on X, it's always very like sarcastic and humorous. And Pearl jumps on and says, it's really strange that strong conservative men allow their women to belittle them online. Something to that effect. And, you know, the natural response to that is like, do you not make jokes in your relationship, Pearl? Like, do you not have fun in your relationship? Do you just like wash your husband's feet when he comes home and say, yes, daddy, whatever you want, I'm gonna sit quietly in the corner? Is that really what you do, Pearl? Because I highly doubt that. And that's the thing I think that bothers me, is the very clear hypocrisy, the double standard that she lives to. She shames women for all sorts of things. She would probably shame me for how low cut my shirt is. Too low for Pearl. I once saw her shame Amala Eknobi for wearing a very cute little corset. I mean, this woman is just, her whole brand is actually to hate women. And I have my own theory about that, and we'll get to that. But she shames women for having thoughts and opinions online, basically, and for showcasing their marriage or their children or their traditional lifestyle. And I just don't understand that, because does she not believe in traditional gender roles? I feel like she does. Does she not want something similar to that? Because I imagine she does. I just feel like everything she does is hypocritical and for rage bait. And I think that if you don't know her backstory, it's something she was in England, or I think, and she started this podcast and it blew up overnight. And basically she would have these really stupid women on and shit on them, and it was pretty funny. My first impression of Pearl Davis ever was that she was very funny. But I think that the podcast blew up way faster than she ever expected it to, and she got stuck in this women hating niche, and now she doesn't know how to capitalize that anymore. So she just continues to take it to the next level of just blatantly hating women. And what I don't understand, and why I firmly believe that she is a bad influence, is why she hates on these women who are showcasing their engagements and showcasing their families and showcasing these traditional gender roles and these healthy relationships. These women are embodying the types of things that we want to see in society, and she just shits all over them, because she says that they're only doing it for clout. And it's like, who cares? Who cares if they're only doing it for clout? They're still pushing forth a positive message and a positive influence. And what are you doing exactly? That is my question, to be honest, because she shits on them for doing all of this, as she perceives it, only for clout. But you're tearing them down for what? For clout, for fame and followers and money. And so it's so beyond hypocritical, and I'm so tired of it. This woman she's so bitter. I've never seen a more bitter person in my entire life, and it's honestly quite sad. I think back to the woman who we talked about her earlier, said that it's quite sad that Pearl is in the exact same position, doing the exact same thing after hating on my engagement a year ago. And it's true. I truly don't know how anyone takes her seriously or looks at her as a reliable source. I don't know. I find it to be really pathetic. And I find this whole squabble to have been so classless and tacky and such a bad representation of conservative women in media. You know, I think that this reflects poorly on more than just those who were involved, because people associate everyone together when you're in the same kind of arena in media. And it's quite unfortunate, this whole entire thing. It was gross. It was very high school. It was incredibly immature. And I think Pearl is at way too big of an age to be acting this way, frankly. So that is my thoughts on that. This felt definitely a lot more like a drama episode than anything truly newsworthy. And you know what? It was. And I don't care, because this really disturbed me. This really did disturb me to my core, because every single time she comes up on my feed, she is just running her mouth about something so stupid. Something stupid. And to hate on this girl for getting engaged because she posted a picture of her ring is ludicrous. It completely doesn't take into account that maybe her husband doesn't want to be posted. You know, there are some people who are private, and especially if you have such a big following like Sarah does, maybe he does not want his face out there. Because the reality is conservative women, their primary demographic is men, and men can be quite nasty in the comments when they find out that the internet girl they're crushing on is taken. I've experienced it firsthand, which is why I've been very cautious with how I've shown my fiance personally. I've gotten a lot better about it, but in the beginning I was very cautious because I've had experiences like that. And it's a very common experience. When Brett Cooper posted her engagement, the comment sections on that were wild. Okay? So I don't know. I just feel so shallow and stupid. And for half of the argument to be about the size of the ring is just so, I don't know. I pray for these women that they find peace or something. Whatever it is they need, I hope they find it, because this was pathetic. But that is all that I have for you guys today. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think that Pearl Davis is a positive influence or a negative influence? Do you think that Emily Wilson is correct in her assertion that if a man can't afford a ring, a big honkin' tonkin' ring, then he shouldn't be getting married? We didn't even get into that, and we're not going to because side quest. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, and we will chat next time. Bye!